So we're going to talk about refining a research question. If this was our research question, what were the causes of World War II? The first thing we really want to think about is, are we talking about all the causes of World War II? So if you Google, we're just wondering, we're in the first stage of research of the Weiser model. So if we were just to Google it, these are some of the possible causes of World War II that could come up. That's a pretty heavy load. What we want to think about instead is how to refine that. Okay, like entire books have been written about just the causes of World War II. That's not the scope of this assignment or writing a handful of pages. So we want to make sure that we keep the task at hand in line with the product we're creating, right? We're not writing a book. So we have to kind of choose one out of this list. So I'm just going to randomly choose one. So to what extent was the Great Depression a cause of World War II? But now we have to figure out if this is like really doable, right? So what kind of evidence will we look at? I think statistical information is certainly helpful, public opinion polls, anecdotes, so that would be primary sources in most cases. Expert opinion, so things that, not just, schools.com is writing on the web, but something that's written by a scholar, an academic, an author who has expertise. Even some journalists may have some expertise in this area. So that we have ample folders for you to access in ClassLink to help you access these resources. So we want to let the research really sort of be the guide for future revisions as we go from there. So if I take a look at Gale in Context World History, so that's one of the links in Schoology, I can look to expert opinions there. So this is a book review of this book that we see in the lower right-hand corner. And just in looking over the review, it really does talk about the relationship between the economic disaster and the aftermath of World War I, leading to the rise of fascism in that ultimately led to World War II. So this kind of affirms that this is a doable topic. I'm looking to statistical information. So we have a whole folder on statistical information. Here's a range of resources for you to use. I'm going to look at Statista, and it gives me this beautiful chart, and it gives related resources and other ways to search and all kinds of output. It's really a fantastic resource. And this is the chart that sort of I once again validated my line of inquiry here. So this chart, it shows how German industrial output was completely disrupted in the aftermath of World War I. And it's really one more piece of evidence that shows that this is a doable line of inquiry. It affirms that I'm on the right track. And by the way, this is a really fantastic resource. This is one we should definitely grab the citation and keep and save it, because it will provide great evidence as we're continuing with our writing. So ultimately, I think, it's not beautiful. Perhaps it's a little clumsy and wordy, but ultimately this is a very focused research question that will really keep the resource collection that we do over the next bit pretty tight and focused on this one topic. So the final revision is, to what extent did the financial strain of the global depression of the 1930s empower the rise of fascism in Germany, ultimately leading to the start of World War II?